Well, what a calendar year 2024 has been for AFC Bournemouth. It's been nothing short of phenomenal. Last gasp goals, insane comebacks, securing our highest ever points tally, losing our star man, only for him to join a side that are 6 points below us right now. New signings, Tom.
Yep.
We painted this pub with one of them as well. Mad shirt sponsorships. The women's team smashing it as well. Andoni breaking more records. Beating United again. Beating Arsenal. Beating Manchester City. Training ground nearly finished. And flirting with Europe. Welcome. This is the second look. This is Baponet. Whether you're listening or you're watching. Hello there, Tom. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks, mate. How are you?
Good. Neil, nice to have you back. How are you?
That is the most optimistic opening to a show I've ever heard. That's brilliant.
We're doing all right though, Neil, aren't we?
We are unbelievably. I just like, is it happening?
Yeah.
It's a good place to be. It is a really good place to be. And as we take a look at the league table, why not? It doesn't matter what league table we show, the baseline tracker, the form table, the calendar year table. But first, we'll start off with the league table. We're doing okay. 7th place. How does that feel, Tom? And is it just a flirt with the E word, or are you going to start thinking properly when there's like 10 games to go about that?
That's a weird one. Like Neil said, I'm kind of pinching myself a little bit. And I wonder if teams like Forest, I wonder if because they've had that history, they're not. So I'm just, in my head, I'm like, well, it can't happen. So we must drop off at some point. But then I watch us and I just think, no, we're really good. And obviously we're going to go into that Fulham game a bit. And no one spoke about how depleted we are. The amount of injuries we've got. I mean, that's definitely, no disrespect, our weakest bench we've ever had in the Premier League. And we're going to Fulham and we're the better team. So and players are coming in and just seamlessly fitting into to whatever position it is. So yeah, why not? Why not? There's other teams up there. Some of the big boys that are expected to be above us, we're better than, in my opinion. So yeah, why not? I mean, Man United are closer to relegation than AFC Bournemouth.
Happy days. And look, Neil, it could have been better. Dango Tara's goal could have counted against Newcastle. The same type of goal, by the way.
Did you see
it? Was scored from Joe Linton against Man United.
So that is still the moment. And I think, do I need psychotherapy? Because I need to be able to move on from it. But I can't think about it without blood pressure rising. I think it was because it was the last kick of the game.
So we definitely
would have won. But no, absolutely outrageous. Yeah, and Joe Linton, same thing. Infuriating because penalties I kind of get a little bit more subjective. Everyone can look at the screen and say, is it handball, isn't it handball? So yeah. But you look at Leicester away, where all of those chances that we fired over or hit the crossbar with, we should have won that. It was only really Liverpool away, isn't it, where maybe Brentford, but even Brentford we hit the crossbar in the last minute. But Liverpool away, where you think, well, we weren't going to get anything.
Speaking of Liverpool, I was on the BBC website, saw a Liverpool fan who commented on one of the forums that they got on there, saying, as a Liverpool fan, I genuinely hope the slumping big teams like Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs, Villa, and forgive me, Man United, can all get back into form and get up the table ASAP. It will completely undermine and devalue our historic 20th league title if we end up sharing the top 4 with the likes of Forest, Fulham and Bournemouth.
He was right, though. He is right. Because it annoys me that I don't want to finish, let's not tempt fate, but I don't want to finish 5th with Forest above us, because everyone will say it was a weak league.
Yeah.
If we finish 5th, I want it to be Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, and all around a Villa or a Newcastle above us.
Yeah, there have been a few big results that we've had this season that have coincided with them teams being atrocious, Man City being one of them.
Yeah, I think people, I'd like to take a bit more credit for that. I think we were the first team to beat them in that Prem run.
And they're Spurs with the Carabao Cup.
Yeah, where they rested players, but that don't count.
No, it can't count.
And yeah, then we started it, in my opinion. But I know what you mean. It's Liverpool, because when they won that Premier League, it was the COVID season.
Yeah.
So people go, it was COVID. And like that fan said, if Liverpool win it, everyone will go, well, that was when Man City had a season off. You know what I mean? So, but you just go and win it. Go and win it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Can't say anyone else winning it.
No. I mean, are we in a title race?
We might be. Look, the baseline track has certainly got us near the top. I swear your matches at home are very important against the other 14, but also getting points on the road as well, like we did. Second in that. And then the calendar year table has us 7th. Arsenal topping that.
Interesting.
Liverpool 2nd, Man City. A few big teams. Bournemouth 7th. Reassuring to know that Saints are bottom of that as well.
Are they? That is a surprise. So they're below Sheffield United, who have minus points as well, by the way.
Every league table there is, they seem to be at the bottom. But yeah, it was always important not to lose against Fulham. They were They're in some relatively good form. Although home, they've not been amazing. But I think before the game, we'd have all taken a point, right?
Yeah, so we saw the team lose.
Yeah, that was it for me. Was we knew that maybe some players wouldn't recover, and when I looked at the team and knowing that Fulham had just had that tremendous win at Chelsea, they're quite buoyant. When you look at them on paper, I think we're quite well matched when we're both fully fit. But I think on paper they had a stronger team out than we did that day,
and bench as well. Match and bench, and you know how good we ended up doing so anyway. But you know how good we come late, and I thought, well, have we got enough on there? But I do think it's probably Iraola kind of genius again. I think he left. He could have easily played, started Dango with the amount of players we had out. Decided to use him as more of an impact, which we've all said he is better at. Proved to be the case. But yeah, I looked at the lineups. I think we had a lot out. They didn't, but I think it probably helped that Smith Rowe was only available for the bench. If he was fully fit, that might have hurt us a little bit. But they did it against Chelsea, but I thought they might revert back because now they're playing Bournemouth. But a bit of a compliment for them to still go over back three against us, because they did it for Chelsea, and I thought they'd revert back to type because they should win the game. But no, I was really pleased.
Your back three is the last formation I think you should play against Bournemouth, because we've got so much. We load the wings so much that means the two centre-halves get dragged out, and then that means there's space in the middle. When we went to Man United, when I saw they were playing a back three, I thought, it's the only time I've gone to Man United and thought we would definitely win this.
Yeah, I thought so.
And your prediction was 1-0 Reece Dottin, wasn't it, in the pub?
Before, in the pub, after a few...
However,
in the preview, it was 2-2, and Harry Wilson would definitely scored. You know, I'll take that. But yeah, I think, after seeing everyone was, I think even before the lineups, everyone was saying it'll be a great pointer, Fulham are a good side, and we know we got some players out. When we saw the team, it was like, definitely take a point. During the game, I changed my mind, if I'm honest.
First 30 minutes.
For the half hour.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
But always a good away day at Fulham. Where does it rank in terms of your London away days, Neil?
It's the best London away day.
I think so. Right.
Yeah, great pubs, easy to get to. I love that walk down the river, and then always go to the riverbank, not through the park. See a bit of London. Fans are really, really friendly. I love the fact it's the only away concourse where the two mix, and they always do it. I don't know what they do if they're playing Millwall or West Ham. I guess they still do it.
Not sure.
Fans are all lovely, aren't they? £1 million houses.
Yeah.
Always been a favourite away.
Probably, but yeah, I'm thought about that is probably the best London one, isn't it?
I presume they're not the like the Fulham Ultras, though, are they, in that stand? Because surely they'd be somewhere else. I don't know if Fulham even have Ultras.
It's only one of the game, I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
but it was bad atmosphere-wise, wasn't it, from them? I didn't hear them sing a song, I don't think.
They're not that sort of fan base. So their away numbers used to be horrifically low. I don't know if they still are, but
I know the prices are quite bad there as well, aren't they?
Yeah, the prices, although every so often they offset it by charging like a tenner for kids for FA Cup games and stuff, but that sort of masks the overinflated prices they charge at other points of the season, and that I think that Riverside stand is quite all edge.
Yes, there's been a lot of complaints about that. My missus was really delighted that they had a sausage roll that was parmesan. You see the parmesan and mustard seed crusty sausage roll, very middle class it is there.
That's so good. And I like the fact that a number of Fulham organisations and fan channels like Fulhamish, they have all come together to protest and make their voices heard about the insane prices, some people being priced out, and it's not nice to see, but look, it was a good day for AFC Bournemouth on the pitch, like you say. We were depleted. Tom, you tweeted full time, but reel off some of the list of names that we had missing.
Tyler Adams, Justin Kluivert, Marcos Senesi, Louis Sinisterra, Adam Smith, Marcus Tavernier, Alex Scott, Julian Araujo.
Wow.
But so there's a lot, and there's a lot of starters in there as well. Obviously, there's some that would help the bench.
Started quite a few.
Smithy would have, but we'll obviously come on to how well James Hill played. But Smithy definitely would have. Scott might have had a chance, or Adams, one of the two, probably would have been in there. Cine always has a chance if he's ever fit. Senesi did have the shirt before he went out. So there's a lot of Tavernier always seems to play. So some big players out for us.
Weird old music mix before the players come onto the pitch. It was some weird kind of 90s, noughties mix. One of the songs was off a British Airways advert. It's just a really weird vibe.
I cannot remember that. I didn't get into fights at that. But no. So I'm afraid I can't join in on that. They used to have Diddy Hamilton, the old radio DJ. He was a Fulham fan, and he used to do the set before the game, going back to the 90s. That showed me age there, but obviously he's not doing it now if they're playing that.
I did watch the whole game back on a stream. Disappointed, Neil, not to see you in the crowd holding Coke Zero, because I did at Old Trafford. And you got a number of messages.
I got loads of texts and WhatsApp. So my phone just went mad. And when I was at Old Trafford, and I was on like 19 WhatsApp messages or whatever, and it was all people saying, "I've seen you." I've not seen it back.
And Mark's like Everton, didn't he?
Was it me and the missus? Was it? I guess.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. You're in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, but
She's got a better face for radio.
love that from you. And that stand, is it a temporary stand? Or, I mean, it's a kind of temporary stand that's been made into a permanent stand, right? Because it's got that temporary feel about it, hasn't it?
Yeah, both ends. I've been in the home end at Fulham because my ex-father-in-law was a Fulham season ticket holder. Both stands are temporary, I think.
Yeah.
Or in terms of feel, they're bouncy and, but yeah.
But it was bouncing because we were creating chances early doors, Tom. I was a really good first half hour. I thought they were brilliant, but when you don't take the chances, then there's always that fear that when they have theirs, they'll probably score it, and that's what happened. But we created loads.
We did. Even players like Brooks was getting involved a lot, I thought. He's a player that I just think, imagine how good he'd be if he had any strength and any pace, because technically, incredible, some of the little runs he was making. And yeah, obviously we had the disallowed goal as well, which, I mean, they didn't even show it on Match of the Day. They didn't show it on the highlights package. So I've only seen it a few times, but it looks a bit harsh.
Yeah.
But he blew it before, so it was never going to go to VAR, was it?
Well, the only thing I can think of is that he could have maybe awarded a penalty afterwards, maybe if it was some holding the other way around. That's the only thing I think of. But if they're checking for VAR, but the whistle's already gone, that doesn't make sense to me, because a couple of the Fulham players actually stopped as soon as they heard the whistle. So how they played out and carry on. So I don't know. It was nice for James Hill to score, but we were playing some really good stuff. Semenyo had a chance where tight from the angle. You said that he should have squared it to Evan Nilsson, but there was a bit of traffic between him and Evan Nilsson.
Yeah, there was. I think at the time I thought he could just square that, and then watching it back, you think, oh, okay, it was harder than I thought. I thought Evan was just there on his own to tap it in.
Yeah.
But I'd never worried if Semenyo wants to take on a shot. It's not a problem. But yeah,
we should hit it low.
Yeah.
If you're not going to square it, maybe hit it low.
Yeah.
Sorry, going back to that corner thing, the thing that winds me up about that, you could take any corner in any game and give a free kick to the opposition or a penalty if you wanted to find the thing, because
there's so much going on.
Yeah, I was at Palace, our last home game. I couldn't believe the amount of people, us as well as them, so it's not a criticism of Palace, that hold on every single corner free kick. So I just think it's really irritating when you start you either got to do it for all of them, or you can't just randomly pick one. But sorry.
No, they do. It's strange. I've read somewhere that they're actually trialling VAR announcements being read out by the referee in the EFL Cup semi-finals.
Yes, I did see that, yeah.
That's going to be weird.
So they'll have a mic like in rugby?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Lots of trial of the EFL Cup, haven't they?
Yeah, I'd wonder if that will then maybe transpire to be the case in the Premier League. But I don't know. But look, we had our chances, fluffed our lines many a time, and then they had a corner on about 40 minutes and scored it. I don't know who was at fault for not picking him up, maybe Kirkes, not sure, but
I'm 90% sure.
Jimenez really good header.
Yeah, I'm 90% sure. I didn't see it. I've seen it back. But yeah, I was going down to have a pint and I thought, this is really good. Shame we're not ahead, but what a half. And then I come down and hear them celebrate. And yeah, everyone just told me it was set piece. So I've seen it back. It looks like a good header, to be fair. He is good in the air, but I'm not sure about who was picking him up or who he wasn't.
It's hard to tell from the camera angle. It was Kirkes that was chasing him. That doesn't mean it was his man. He might have just reacted to a situation.
Yeah.
It looked like he peeled off round the back and had gone, and then Kirkes spotted him. Yeah. So I'm not sure, but he's very good in the air. And he should have been one of the taller players if it was Kirkes.
Sometimes when there's so much traffic in the box, it's very difficult to necessarily be man for man maybe he was supposed to be. And there were about 2 or 3 players in between Kirkes and Jimenez by the time that he got his connection on the ball. So I don't know. I can't really blame him overly for that. But 1-0, frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, weirdly, I was kind of just about relieved at half time because I thought Christie was going to go. Because obviously I was down there and then it was all just focusing on Christopher and what's going on here. Well, the only thing I was going to say, because it was there's nothing against Fulham obviously, because it was our most recent game prior, Eze could have easily gotten on Christie and didn't. So, and yeah, they were slightly different, but I thought, maybe that's evens itself up a little bit. But yeah, Christie, he made them have a conversation and he really didn't need to. He's lunged in a bit. It's one of them, a bit like the Eze one of him, where I could see why it's a red. But equally, I don't really want them to be reds because he doesn't know. It's not 2 feet, is it?
It wasn't, because one of his feet was retracted a little bit.
It's interesting, Marco Silva's comment though about the marks on on Robinson's legs. Yeah. So clearly, that was the bit that upset them when they got him in at half time and took his I think he had low shin pads anyway, but he had clear marks on his legs. So I think that's what upset them. It's one of those that I'd have wanted it to have been a red if it had been someone on our player.
Yeah.
They want it to be a red when it's our player. But I mean, the game used to be full of tackles like that, didn't it?
100%.
But probably the modern game, that's a red, I will say.
And it's the reaction of the Fulham players that made it almost worse. That made me fear it more than anything else. But
he'd have gone at Anfield.
Yeah,
100%. He'd have walked to Anfield.
I think Silva also in his interview was alluding to a challenge in a previous game where a red was awarded, and in his eyes it was less.
That's the thing.
In the last game.
Yeah.
So you're thinking like VAR, it's not fit for purpose because you've got different people manning each time with different opinions. You just
subjective,
but you just wonder, like, there's Fulham fans that are moaning at us for that challenge. Maybe they should be directing their anger at their own club for being one of them, like us, that voted for it.
Yeah.
But all these things that happen during the season, you sort of wonder why clubs end up voting for it all the time.
Yeah, I guess they hope it's going to improve. I think they think, well, I want the officials to have more support, but they just want it to be run better, and you're not voting for how it's going to be run. You're just voting for yes or no on your phone.
Well, you want the decision 1 week to match.
That's the problem. Any sort of thing, I've just done it then. And you said Marcus Silva done it. Any sort of thing, you go, yeah, but that one didn't. So he was you know what I mean? And it's
And the clear and obvious error thing, I think, is unclear, ironically, because had he given Christie a red, it wouldn't have been overruled, I don't think, would it?
No.
So why can't they just say you got it wrong?
Right.
Yeah. It's right or wrong to me. So, but we don't like VAR anyway, do we? So
no. I said to Jim, who's really nice Fulham fan that we spoke to a number of times before, and I said this on the vlog, that he said we're most susceptible for the first 10-15 minutes after
half time.
Yeah. And that's what happened.
Yeah.
And we started all right, didn't we?
Yeah, we started really well. And it's James Hill first. Was that a first Premier League start? It was, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And out of position as well.
Yeah.
Who obviously had an unbelievable game. I'm really, really pleased for him. I think I said on the preview that just kind of thought with Smith being out, he tried Aarons, didn't he? And I thought, and Aarons was okay. And I thought maybe he'll try Hill in the other one, which he obviously did. And no disrespect to Aarons, but Hill's got the shirt now, and it's out.
Oh, yeah.
But the pass, I saw someone put it on online actually. If that's Trent to Salah, they ain't shutting up about that.
Yeah.
What a ball that is.
Yeah, it was incredible.
And Evan also didn't look at the goal once.
I couldn't really tell, even from watching the replays, because I don't think the replays do it justice. But I can't tell where it goes, over the keeper to the side.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's kind of like, feels like it's like to his shoulder.
Yeah, it feels like it's gone par la vida. But and it went off his shin, which I think
Makes it work.
Might have, maybe the keeper was expecting off a foot across him, and it's kind of gone through him. I don't know, but it was I mean, what an absolute vision to pull that off with the curb on it, and it was almost the replica, just closer to the goal of his Southampton goal, with it, where he can get his body into positions that only Brazilians could. There's years of playing on a beach, isn't it? Yeah. He probably lived nowhere near a beach.
He's the one I want to sure every game because I just think he's been so good. Yeah. When you're a centre forward, everyone's going to look at the numbers. So I'll keep tapping away, keep getting the odd goal. Because he's still, what's he on now? 4 or 5?
5.
Yeah.
5. But annoying that winning penalties aren't assists.
Yeah, that was true, because he's won a goal. He's won every single one of our penalties, I believe.
And that Chelsea moment was a sliding doors in terms of
when he missed
if he scored that penalty, he might now be on 10, 11.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because it might have kicked him on. But then Clive might win a bit. Yeah,
he's dynamite. So I messed up on getting the tickets. So I was in the front row, which is irritating.
You're below the pitch level.
Very irritating position to be in. Wouldn't want to do it again. But one of the only pluses from it was I got to see certain things a lot different to I've ever seen them before. One was how good is Kepa at receiving a ball with his feet. He's just like a normal player, not a goalkeeper. Yeah. And the other one was in the first half, Evan Nielsen's darting little when he makes a decision to try and he cut one off, didn't he, from the goalkeeper and was unlucky.
A few times, didn't he? Then he got let out. Yeah.
You would not believe how quick he is over 5 yards. He's like a rapier quick over 5 yards.
Yeah, his movement that's bad. And there's too many times this season where a keeper's nearly been done by ever. It can't be a coincidence anymore.
No, that's
true. Yeah, he's very good at. I mean, obviously he won a few penalties from it, didn't he?
Yeah, all the time.
So them little movements, and was really impressed with Hill, not just with the goal, but often he was looking for that ball, and that's always what Smithy's told to do, and that's what we always said. Celeste used to do it a lot, didn't he? Them little balls over channel. So it's good that they're kind of in sync with that at the moment.
If you think what Blackburn fans said about Hill, though, because obviously he did a half season, didn't he? And we recalled him, and they were really, really gutted. He was on for Player of the Year, and they all said what a classy footballer he was. Not didn't talk so much about how good he was at defending, just how classy he was. on the ball. So so I was less worried because it's not like he's coming from the cold. If you've done a half season at the Championship,
Yeah, I know, man.
you should be able to hold your own in a team that aren't
Performing well. Yeah, no, I agree.
A few changes were made. Just looking at the match timeline, if you're looking at YouTube. So Dango came on for Brooksy. Also, they made a double sub afterwards. Tom Kearney and Muniz coming on for Pereira and Jimenez.
Yeah.
Seemed to be that we kind of lost that control in the middle of the park somewhat.
I think they deserve credit. I think Kearney helped them a lot at keeping the ball. Kearney's a very good footballer. I mean, he probably ain't got the legs anymore. He's a bit older, but I thought they'd start controlling it a little bit more in there with he's just a little bit better receiving the ball under, like when Christie's ragging around his ankles, he was a little bit calmer, I felt. So that helped them, for sure. And yeah, I mean, Dango for Brooks, obviously it meant, because Dango went onto the left, didn't he?
Yeah, they swapped a few times.
But yeah, they definitely had a spell then. And obviously, of course, Harry Wilson pops up.
Yeah, I mean, they had chances before that as well, didn't they? With Kepa making a good save and Howson.
Yeah, was that before the goal?
When did we go to two up front?
That was later, just after Harry Wilson. A minute after.
Because then we really lost control. Yeah. But we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah, it was a great header from. Again, is that Kirkus because he's the right-sided player coming in?
I think, if you watch it again, it looks like Lewis Cook is
with it,
tasked with Harry Wilson, and then he kind of points to say, like, your guy's man
hurt. Yeah, okay.
And then there's a miscommunication, and then he's just Harry Wilson has a lot of freedom.
What's he doing there? Because I've seen him score a few headers for Fulham. I can't remember ever headering the ball for us.
Yeah, he's not the tallest, is he?
No, but he's got a good leap on him, hasn't he?
It's quite an easy header.
It was easy header. We had to move on to it and head it. And I think some small players can be excellent in the air. They just aren't going to win many headers against defenders. But if they get into space and someone finds them with a cross, they know how to head it.
Well, and that was Finney's always good. So Flair was good at that.
Yeah, that was a top draw header, Harry Wilson's.
Yeah,
draw header.
What's weird is that 2-1 down, and at that point, and I've done this so many times this season, I'm just conditioned to think, we're probably just gonna lose now 2-1, but I shouldn't think that way.
Not when you got Unal coming.
There's always a way back, and look, we Phil Bill made way for Unal. We had a couple of substitutions a bit later on as well, with Max Aarons and Ben Winterburn. Congratulations, man.
We've done it against, I can't remember what game it was where we come back, and we've done it so many times now. But he's done it where he's brought on James Hill in centre midfield and it's worked. How can we're 2-1 down, he takes off Evan Nilsson for Ben Winterburn and we score.
But that to me is why he'll be a top club manager.
Because everyone else should be dead, he's taken off striker from midfielder. Yeah. But we lost so much control in midfield.
He knows that the system is more important than the players that play it. And when he went to two up front, he lost the system. And we didn't have that person that was putting the pressure on there, holding the data. And then they had a period where they ran again. So he took off Evan Nilsson, went 2-1 down, brought on a lad, no disrespect to him. He's never added a thing to the football club bubble because he's never played. He's come back from what was Weymouth or something like that. And because he knew that someone harrying from deeper against the central midfielder makes the system work.
Yeah.
And I thought, it's just genius, absolute genius.
Yeah, he's just clever like that. And I think Ben Winterburn, touched the ball twice in the game, but it wasn't about that at all. It was like Neil said, it was when we went two up top, they controlled it. So you just need an extra body in there, just to charge down, just to harass, and then when we can nick it back, then we can go again. But
and he forced the goal. Had he not made that run, that guy would have had time to have picked someone out.
And we probably should have equalised before that when Phil Bill had that chance. So this was I think it was Unal. Obviously, it was on 73 when Unal came on for Billing. But one of his last moments was where Ouattara played him in, and it was a very Philip Billing shot.
He done it in the game prior, didn't he? When he come on against Palace, where he just kind of slide-footed one.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what you think. Though I thought, because obviously Billing hadn't played much this season.
That was his first start.
Yeah, I didn't think Billing was awful at all. No. But I was saying to you during the game one night, this is a game for Kluivert, because Ever was causing him problems with that press, and Kluivert would have been just that bit closer. I just felt Billings, and that's not Billings' fault. Billings not that type of player.
He got to learn to play together. He's only had one game playing with that.
Yeah.
So
it's so weird watching him play though, because I was watching the highlights back, and I think he was running onto a ball, and he was quicker. He was probably the same pace, if not faster, than the opposing player for Fulham. But just his demeanour just makes it look like he's strolling.
Yeah,
actually,
I do feel for him.
He's actually quite pacey.
He's pacey. Yeah,
he wanted to be quite.
Look at his yards that he covers and everything. It is his. People say the same about Peter Crouch. It's the long leg,
right? And he's that.
Yeah, and you just don't get it. And I really like Phil Bill. I'm not sure he'll survive the January window. Though I think rumours
Yeah.
On that, he might be adding up.
Fixtures, yeah. I know you've been linked with a few clubs in Turkey before, so there might be something in it. But I think more forbidden, but he's been.
It's great to don't play, yeah.
He's got some magic moments. He has. I think probably one of the top reasons we stayed up that O'Neill season, top goal scorer. But sometimes a system and a start just doesn't quite fit, and he deserves to go and play football.
But there have been moments recently with him and Brooks where I thought, maybe it could work.
Yeah, I think
small moments.
Yeah, it's very small moments. I'm not sure. I think Brooksy's got a little bit more. I actually think I wouldn't have minded seeing Brooksy in that role a little bit maybe as well, because he always seems to play wide because he ain't got the pace. But I don't know. I just think that Brooksy's a different one because of obviously what he's gone through and stuff. You think he's always going to be a little bit behind in fitness levels and all that stuff, and you don't know what you're going to get him coming back. Billing, I think, it's the time to go and play football, mate, to be honest. But I didn't think he had a bad game. But it was the right change to try and see if it worked with 2 up. Then, as you say, he quickly went, this ain't working, changed it again, and we'll probably score.
Going back to that shot, though, it's a shame because I always think if you want one player running onto a ball 14 yards out in our whole squad, probably it's Billing, isn't it? Because he's such a
good striker.
It's such a reliable striker.
And used to them kind of runs. And
like Matt Ritchie or Harry Arthur, there's certain players you like the ball to fall to 12 yards out.
Well, not Christo.
Yeah, maybe not. He had a couple of wayward efforts again. Yeah, as ever. But look, I think due to like Ben Winterbird's pressure, we helped to win the ball back. He didn't touch it, but
Diop's kind of rushed into his clearance, didn't he?
Yeah, and then the ball eventually found Andoni Iraola, who cuts in and then crosses it to a free dangle. It might have got a touch
when he first played it to Unal. Semenyo, and then Unal played it back to him, didn't he?
Yeah.
But fair play to Semenyo, but he's not been on it to the levels that he has been. But he's not coming off because we know what he can do.
Yeah.
And even at that moment, he was sharpest to get onto that ball. He done the right thing to obviously flick on. I thought he was going to go alone. And then Dango cleverly makes it look like he's done a bad touch and just dinks over the goalkeeper. And it definitely was the perfect touch that he meant. Well done, Dango. Dango's my man of the match.
He did well with the finish, and it looked extremely cool. But I do think, and we will never know, but it did seem just like a heaven touch, so he was forced into dinking it. But
that's
brilliant, wasn't it?
That's the gem.
I think he probably wanted to get it out from under his body and thump it top left.
Yeah.
Which is what he'd not normally do in that position. Touch was a little heavy, but then fair play to him because he thinks it. It's really weird though. Maybe again might have been the angle I was at. He didn't celebrate.
No one did.
He did a tiny little chippy thing, and then he sort of like veered off to the right, and there's a real delayed reaction from the fans. I thought as a player got to it and cleared it off the line, or what was going on. It was so weird.
I think on one of the highlights, it kind of pans to someone's talking to Iraola, one of the players. I think it was Lewis, and you see Elphick just go like that. And I think they just get told to get the ball.
Yeah,
which is so us, isn't it? At the moment with Iraola, he's going bloody hell, we can win this, which is mad. But to Dango's credit, he's Ipswich, that one, Tottenham was a winner. They're big goals. So yeah, his legs do help off the bench for sure. But yeah,
it's much better coming on.
So good coming
particularly when we're losing. Yeah, and it's all about But when he starts and he has to stick to a certain system and play a certain game plan, I think it doesn't help his game.
No.
Do you think one of his strengths is his unpredictability?
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if he knows what he's going to do.
Like as Adama Traore came on for.
Yeah.
He's a player that I think Dango reminds you of that. Every club Traore's been at, and he's been at some incredible football clubs. He never quite makes it, but he will always have moments where the fans aren't quite sure why he doesn't make it, because he'll beat 7 players and then he'll cross it behind the goal, or very similar sort of player to.
I used to think probably not the same standard, but I remember we had a spell where every time Mousse come on, we'd do well, and you'd think, oh, he's brilliant, and then he was crap, and then he was brilliant, but it always felt like he doesn't know what he's going to do. So how the hell do they know? None of us know.
Is he a modern day Jason Brissett?
No, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I was watching Brissett.
But yeah, good finish in the end. And you're right, because I was concerned because there was a Fulham player down.
Yeah.
Watching the highlights back, no one apart from Anton Semenyo, I think he sort of wheels away, turns around, punches the air, but no one else was interested in that. And I was concerned that VAR was going to come in for something.
I think it was the ball. He'd already played the ball, Semenyo, and then his follow through kind of caught Diop.
Yeah.
But what was interesting is Diop was fine, and then the ball went in, and then he started going around. So I think it was. Remember, he was the one that gave the ball away. I think it was one of their moments where you made the error. claim you've been. That would have been harsh, in my opinion. I could see that, but that would have been harsh.
So we're just looking at the stats on YouTube. If you're watching, if you're listening, Fulham had a 52% possession. Their expected goals was a lot less, but as you can see, dominating everywhere else for AFC Bournemouth in terms of total shots, bigger chances, corner kicks as well. We never like to have the ball, do we, Tom? And
I don't want it.
There were large parts of that where Fulham did have the ball, but we contained them. But I did feel that in that second half, we sort of lost control a little bit.
We had this. There was a perfect example of what I say about having the ball. Is we had a lot more possession at half time. So in the first half, and we didn't score a goal. Second half, we didn't have as much of the ball. We scored 2. And it was because I was having a pint. Jimenez's was from a corner, wasn't it? Not a free kick.
It was a corner.
So that was their only corner of the game. Went in. Yeah, no, I didn't realise that. But yeah, but both goalkeepers as well, I think, deserve credit. I think Fulham will be said, Lella made some big saves in there, and Kepa did as well. But both goalkeepers were, I think they're 2 goalkeepers that obviously are not the big boys. I've always thought Leno's a good goalkeeper, and I think Kepa's a classy goalkeeper as well. Two top goalkeepers. Obviously.
You mentioned this footwork there, and also before we start recording, you were talking about Kepa. You were really impressed by him, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, I know he had a couple of little dodgy moments when he first came. But I just think that everything about him is class, really.
His positioning.
His positioning is fantastic. He made some great saves second half. But it's more, in terms of a modern goalkeeper, he was getting the ball pinged at him from all angles. His first touch is immaculate. He never panics. When people close him down, he zips it off to the left, he zips it off to the right. I just think we're lucky to have him.
Yeah, I think even the defenders sometimes when they do that, pass back to the goalkeeper, they don't really look. Because they will sort it out if it goes off the ground a bit. Whereas sometimes you feel like you have to be really precise with a goalkeeper.
So quick off his line as well.
Yeah, and I love the way he comes off his line. That's what. Listen, we all know that Neto made great saves. Travers is a great shot stopper, and Kepa is as well. But that's the difference with his feet and off his line, in my opinion.
When we have a look at the average positions, I mean, I think we noted on the preview that Fulham seemed to, I think, against Southampton and against Chelsea away. So Southampton at home, they had 6 or 7 players in their own half, which is weird. When playing Saints, you think you maybe come at them a bit more, but in this one, again, only 3 in our half. But when they do make the substitution, the game gets stretched, and that's where Dango obviously came into his own for AFC Bournemouth. We only had 3 in our own half. Of course, Kepa.
Look at James Hill have his position in the opposition half. For a set back.
That surprises me, because I thought that Hill had been a more defensive fullback than Kirkes. So it just goes to show you watch a game with your own sort of implied things in your head, don't you? But if I'd have bet any money that Kirkes would have had a further attacking position than James Hill. So fair play to him. He didn't just come in and hold his end up.
Yeah, no, he was impressive, wasn't he?
But yeah, form table looking good. AFC Bournemouth currently 5th in the form table. That's going back over the last 6.
It's another league table. Look who's bottom. Covered. They're even below United. That is embarrassing, isn't it?
I think they'll beat Derby's record, though.
Do you think they'll get there?
Yeah, no. With this change of manager, they look a little bit more.
As in, they'll get more points than 11, or
yeah, I think they'll get more points than 11.
Oh, okay.
Because they're looking a little bit more solid, aren't they, with this chap?
Yeah. What was it? Did they? No, I'm trying to remember what they did in the last.
They did it. They got a 0
on the 2-1. They lost 2-1. Yeah.
So they're starting to look a little bit more solid.
Bless them.
I tell you what, their next. So Man United's next home game is Southampton at home.
Not.
If Man United don't win that,
oh God, it's got to go, hasn't he?
Well, not so much that, but you have to talk about them as being relegated.
Yeah, you've got to, yeah. Because you would any other team in that position, wouldn't you, on that run? Yeah, you would, yeah, 100%.
If you cannot beat a team with 6 points at home, that's going to be a really interesting game to watch.
So, January then, we face Everton. Oh, I want to be winning that.
Yeah, I hate these sort of games. You know what I'm like?
Don't like Everton at home.
I don't like them sort of games. We've actually got a good record there, but
I don't think they've ever beaten us at home.
No,
not in the Premier League.
Not in the Premier League. We have got a good record. But yeah, I just think it's going to be. I think they've probably got more quality, Palace, obviously because of the league positions. But I think it's going to be similar. They'll obviously come here and go and we nick something on the break potentially, but let's try and have a point. I think we'll be asked to try and break them down. And my worry would be the longer it goes 0-0, and the more we panic a little bit like we did Palace, it could be a difficult one. But we've still got enough quality, mate. We score early, we'll be fine. I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be an interesting game, but you can't,
They had our number up there, didn't they? Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's sort of last this time.
I thought they played us superbly.
Well, they were brilliant that game. That's probably the best they played until the last 5. But yeah, the thing is, Everton, I think if you can get the lead against them, they're quite fragile at the moment. So yeah, that might help us. But yeah, no, I'm still confident we can get the win. But I think we'll go to Stamford Bridge and win, by the way.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm just more confident in them games now.
I don't do it, so why can't we? Yeah.
Are we going to get any players back? That's the key, isn't it?
Yeah, and are we going to make any dabblings in the transfer market? You've been looking closely, Tom. I'm putting you under pressure because you absolutely haven't. Right. This guy from DC United. Tell me all about him, Tom.
Oh, Matty. I got a Matty, but
yeah, Matai, I think. Akimboni.
Akimboni, yeah, 19-year-old, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think he was born in 2006, something like that. I think he's played about 13 games, something like that for DC United. Yeah, it looks like he's having a medical. It looks like he's someone that's obviously going to be brought in, like we've done in the past, that more of the future. But I wonder if
he's the new Dean Howson, is he?
Yeah, hopefully. If with Celesti's injury, which obviously seems quite long term, with Meppen doing well at Sunderland, probably wouldn't want to come back. It maybe just he won't have to be registered because of his age. So maybe it's someone that will be developed in a development squad and will be available for us if we need him, kind of to be part of the squad, I guess. So, but definitely one for probably one that will come in, be available, and then may go out and load at the end of the season. Yeah, I guess. But there's options to bring back a few. Isn't there?
Oh yeah, like Rothwell, Mepham.
Can we just?
Do you reckon we would?
I don't think we will with Mepham.
But Rothwell, you want to derail Leeds?
Oh, that'd be great. They love him at the moment. Just bring him back and don't do anything. He's our player.
Bring him back and not play him.
But we did it with Travers. We brought him back from Stoke. Never played him.
True.
We brought James Hill back from Blackburn, never played him. I would, if they're going to let Billing go, just bring Rothwell back. Or Fev, or Hamid Traore is a weird one because he's ripping it up. They reckon he's been signed of the season in France.
So are you saying let him carry it on
That's
and we'll get enough money for him, or take it? I mean, do you know any part?
And he would be fuming as well, and I don't think that helps.
No.
And I just don't think it's worked. He never felt right here, and every time he's gone out, he's done all right. I think let him go out there and get as much cash as he can.
Yeah, we need to recoup. He was 25 million.
It's a lot of money. Yeah.
We got to recoup that because of FFP. It'll stop us signing other players if we can't recoup it. So I think we need to. I think with him, favourite Rothwell, I think Iraola's had enough look at them in 3 seasons. He doesn't use them. He did use Jadon Anthony. So I think if you said to Iraola, you can have a player back, he'd have Jadon Anthony back because he likes wide players that understand his system.
I believe he's the only one who can't go back.
Oh, he's got a season long.
He's got the obligation to buy rule, which means so if Burnley go up, they have to pay us 10 million for him. So you can't.
No. So if we got that, we can't do it.
So I'd agree that he's used him before, and he's the type of player.
Were we able to get him back, I think he would have him back. I just think with the others, I think he's just made his mind up that they don't work.
Yeah.
So only if we can't sign anyone for FFP would he then maybe say, let's maybe take another punt on Traore. But Traore's in a position with Kluivert, so he wouldn't start. So why would he come back and do that? So if you look at positions that we maybe need to start, it's wide positions, and we haven't got any wide players out on loan other than Jadon Anthony we can't bring back. So I think we'll see signings. I think Bill Foley's over here, isn't he? Yeah. I don't know where we stand with FFP.
No. Bidding, if bidding were to go, it's a lot of wages off even if it's a loan, or you got to think of them sort of things. I think also
Bill Foley will want to push on.
Yeah, cool.
I will be amazed if we don't make at least one signing this in January.
I think the touch on the Hamid Traore one, I think it was because obviously it was like over 20 million, but they would get more based on when he hits a certain amount of appearances. He hasn't made many. I do wonder if he made a few random sub appearances for us, that'll shoot the price up we have to pay as well. Them sort of things you kind of forget about. The one I actually think will come back, even if it's just dependent development, is Dan Jennison, because he's been awful at Watford, by all accounts.
Saw a few tweets about it.
So he was not going to stay in this. Yeah, I saw his miss. But we're definitely not going to stay there. So you either bring him back and go, do we go to League One? Do we give him to a Pompey? Something like that. Or do we just go, you know what, go and let Unal have minutes.
Yeah.
Get them to pay Unal's wages and have Jemison as a backup. I don't know what he'll think of doing. He's used Cine up top before. We don't know how close he is. Yeah. So it all depends on a lot.
Can't have Jemison as a backup because Evan Nielsen, it worries me enough. If Evan Nielsen gets injured, that would have to play every week. So I think we will get a centre forward.
Yeah. So what are your hopes and dreams for 2025 then, Tom? I mean, let me give you a hypothetical quandary. Europe or FA Cup semi-final at Wembley? Europe or FA Cup final at Wembley? Europe or winning the FA Cup?
That gets you into Europe, so win the FA Cup.
Okay. But look, it's possible, Neil. It's possible. And Tix was saying, we were walking to Craig Cottage, he said, I would almost feel a bit disappointed if one of us, Fulham and Forest, didn't get to Europe after the starts that we've had. And there's a good chance that one of us will. We'd Forest second in the league.
And if if the coefficient goes well, 8th will be Conference League as well.
Yeah.
So it's an extra spot.
I'd have the FA Cup, but that's my age.
Yeah.
So to just have one time where we go out in an FA Cup final, but I think that's age low. I think anyone over 40 will say FA Cup. I think anyone under 40 will probably say Europe.
Tom just wants a beer in a square in Tbilisi.
I'm more thinking of going. That's one game at Wembley.
Yeah.
Or going around Europe and all these weird places. That's what I'm thinking. But
the admin of booking, I mean, we find it hard enough getting away tickets, mate, trying to, across.
I think you'd be right on point to go to the way to Tbilisi. I think you'll be on a very small group of people on that place.
Do you know what the way the hub is, Interview?
I don't know what it is, but I can just imagine all the texts flying around. I was trying to book Ryanair, trying to work out our luggage. We don't know what we'll be doing, but it will be so fun. If that
it'll also probably completely knacker our season next year. Like yourself, every team that gets into Europe, unless you're got the squad that's an Arsenal or Liverpool.
In terms of that, Neil, do you sort of feel as though, like, I know that Bill Foley said like Europe within 5 seasons or whatever, but do you feel as though it feels a bit now or never? Because this is probably the best squad we've had for a long time.
It's more than the big teams are dropping as well, isn't it?
I do, but also I think in terms of us, we've said that before, haven't we? So had you said to me when Howe left and we were in the Championship that we'd be sat in 3 years' time 5th in the Premier League, I think you need to go have a word with this psychiatrist, mate. So I think you just never know, do you? Because we don't know who we might. So I think Iraola he's not going to be with us 10 years. Despite us singing it, he's not going to want to do it.
It's slow though, which gives me hope.
So you got to think who's going to be next. But then we never thought we'd find a better manager than Eddie Howe.
Yeah.
So who knows? But I think, you've got to look at it. Like the year Leicester won the league, there was only one year that Leicester were ever going to win the league, and it's that year. Yeah. I think this year, you think there's only 1 year that we might get into the Champions League. It will be this year. But
100%.
Yeah. I mean, but we would need signings, and we would need a great run on injuries.
What about the players that are maybe thinking ahead of their careers and where they might be able to get a move? Because I know that there are several clubs that are circling around, not publicly, but we've heard murmurings, of course, of Antoine Semenyo, who's got a few suitors, and others as well. Do you think European football would change how they feel, or would it not matter? Or is it more of a financial thing and the people above them will have to make the decision for them?
100%. I think any player when you see players say, I just wanted to play in Europe, they wanted the money. So if you ask a player, do you want to play in Europe with Bournemouth, or do you want to be at Tottenham not in Europe, but on 150 grand a week? So I think it's one of those things that if people are quite romantic and try and say the right thing, what they really mean is, I want 160 grand. Dominic Solanke would rather be at Tottenham than in playing in Europe for Bournemouth away at Tbilisi in the conference.
Yeah, 100%.
Every day.
And I was thinking, he was quite honest about it when we had him on here, actually, Matt Ritchie. I was thinking that example that Newcastle got relegated and he went to Newcastle instead of Bournemouth. We didn't want him to go, and he said to us, I'm over trebling the wage. I've got a family. What do you want me to do? Yeah. And that's, he could have been, and he chose to get rid of Premier League football and go to the Championship. Yeah. So, there'll be offers for some of our players. I'm not as convinced on the Semenyo one. I think he's a class player, but he had a real purple patch where it went, and he done a few on Sky, so people, but I think there's, we got Semenyo from Bristol City in the Championship where they weren't overly concerned when he left. I got a Bristol City fan, he said he had gutted about Caddy's job.
Scott,
not Semenyo at all. And I think there's a lot of quick pace wingers that if you've got a good coach, that's what it's all about, having a good coach. I think the difference is it's very hard to find a good left back. And at the age Milos Kerkez is, he's changed his agent again, and I think we'll keep him all in January, but I think he'll go in the summer, definitely. Mm-hmm. And Zabani's going to be a difficult one to keep, because I think it won't just be even a Tottenham to come in, it will be a Liverpool. It will be a top side. So
him and Hyson. So I think Hyson's better than Zabani.
You actually? Right? Oh, that's a big statement.
I do. But the age he's at.
So a couple of years, isn't it?
So look at Zabani when he first came into our side.
Yeah.
And everyone is saying they'll be 100% right. It's difficult. You're adjusting to a new league, etc., etc. Get it? But when Zabani came, I remember seeing him away at Palace, and he got the run around and stuff like that. It took him a little while to adapt. Hyson stepped in and has been brilliant, and he's younger. He's 2 years younger. Yeah. So I think if you see Hyson when he's Zabani's age, he will be better. They're both brilliant.
Yeah, that would spoil it. The only, no, that's totally right. The only thing I would caveat with is I think Houghton's come into a team that's settled. I think Zabani come in where we're trying to learn bits. So I think it's probably been easier for him to come in. But yeah, no, I mean, there's not a lot in it. And I think they're both top class players. And we've still got Celeste, who I love as well, who's just injured.
Yeah.
James Hill looks all right, doesn't he? And now we've got Akimbola. He's incredible, that guy.
Can't believe it.
13 games.
He's played 13 games at DCNI, and apparently they were all brilliant.
Interesting.
Coming back from injury, though, that's the thing.
Well, that's right.
So what?
Yeah.
So have we heard anything about Cine? Because
It's just mental. A leader man's told us that he's all. I don't give a damn.
back on the grass. That's all we hear. He's been back on the grass under Snoop Dogg.
And quite often we hear the press conference bit about the injuries, and they never mention it.
Never mentioned
Yeah,
it.
never mentioned
He's never in any of the training pictures, because I always have a look to see, is he in the background?
Right.
It's like he's disappeared off the face of the earth.
And I love him. I think he's brilliant. I think his numbers are brilliant. When he comes, he often delivers.
Yeah, an impact player though, isn't he?
He is, but he's just a really classy player. But best ability is availability, and he's never available.
Yeah.
He's never available, is he? He comes back for a couple of games. He had this last season as well, so bit of a concern, that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you made any New Year's resolutions, Neil?
Yep, loads that I make every year.
Yeah.
That normally lasts till February the 2nd. So, more exercise, better diet, less phone time.
Is Louis, your son, is his New Year's resolution to meet Andoni again, because it wasn't so long ago that he was seen at a local...
Made him a flat white.
He made him a flat white?
Where's his Starbucks?
So
he made him a flat white.
What happened then? So it was a weekday afternoon, and he's...
Yeah, apparently, yeah. So I think his kids play football local to wherever that Starbucks is. And so he just popped in and he had his iPad out and he was doing football training stuff on his iPad. And Flat White had a chat with Louis. Louis said he was really, really lovely bloke. So
he said he's cleared up his stuff and
asked him how long he'd been going and all sorts. So you're really interested and couldn't have been nicer. But.
Do you think, like we were having a conversation in the car on the way back, do you think Iraola is more likeable than Eddie Howe? Because I think he is.
Yeah.
A likeable person.
Bit more personality.
I'm not trying to discredit Eddie, so we all love him, but I don't know, just...
Eddie was very serious, wasn't he?
Very,
very, very serious. Iraola, Eddie wasn't very demonstrative on the touchline. Iraola kicks every ball. He's constantly talking to the fourth official. He lives every second of the game. He's always got a massive smile on his face. I just think he plays football the way every fan wants to. Every fan deserves to see football played to that level.
Yes, mate.
New Year's resolutions for you?
No, I ain't got it.
You haven't got any?
I don't do them. Nah, rubbish. Everyone just gives them up anyway. What's the point? For me, do it. Why do you have to do it on January the 1st? Do it whenever you want.
Yeah, true. For me, it's just all about fit. I'm doing dry January, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm doing a 10K, so I'll be asking for your sponsorship at some point.
We've all done a 10K.
I didn't even realise I was doing it, but apparently I am. So yeah, that's going to be...
I've got one for New Year's resolution for Milos Kerkers.
Oh, okay. So what? Yeah. So
Players' New Year's resolution.
Players' New Year's resolutions. What resolutions should they have?
Well, Milos Kerkers has got to stop Justin Kluivert cutting his hair. For sure.
Oh.
Yeah, what other ones could they do?
I was thinking Evan Nilsson's goal scoring celebration needs to be bigger guns.
Yeah,
He's got this little quite camp sort of pistol thing going on. He needs to get like...
We'll see if Tyler Adams show him what a proper gun's like or something. Do you know what I mean? Get a proper gun out. I'm trying to think if there's any. Can you think of any for individual players? Good little...
I suppose, there's the footballing side of things, and players like Araujo just needs to, please get back fit so we can see exactly what you're like as a footballer, because we still don't know.
Yeah.
There's a few players like Max Aarons that I haven't seen enough of him, but I don't think he's really all that.
I think he'll also go in January.
Yeah.
Like a youth drug for Adam Smith.
Yeah.
I'd love him to go on forever.
Yeah, how does he keep doing it? Adam Smith, by the way, it's madness. I'm trying to think of other little... Yeah, most of it's just like stay and fit, isn't it? A little bit to our squad. And Christian Cook get a little bit better shooting from midfield. It'd be nice. Nice at real.
Goals from midfield will be good.
We still don't... Yeah, we think of them goals from midfield.
City's definitely stay fit, isn't he?
Yeah. I'm not sure. Really.
Do you reckon Nuno will stay second half of the summer?
Nah.
There's rumours about some of the Spanish clubs want him back.
Because he's got a good record in Spain. So we'd take advantage of that, because I don't think it's going to work personally.
When did we...
Iraola, we've got a definite resolution for him. He's got to decide that he wants to run a small club by a beach till he's 75.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, when did he sign the contract extension? Was that in the summer?
Yeah, he's got this year and next year.
We're hoping that he's going to be doing that again, maybe.
Yeah, he might go after we won the Europa.
Yeah.
But we've got him for a bit.
He's always been very honest, hasn't he, about
Yeah.
He doesn't like necessarily the pressures of running a football club. It's not a job he sees himself doing long term, which I think is really interesting. He said it impacts hugely on your mental health, your family, stuff like that. So I think he's the sort of bloke that will become a director of football. Not too long away. He'll probably go back, do one big job, I think, probably in Spain. Then he might move upstairs. I think that might suit his sort of intellect and his different languages and stuff a lot better.
There's been murmurings of Tottenham Hotspur maybe be interested. Do you think a top 6 or a big 6 team would
they're not
take a gamble on Iraola? And would it be taking a gamble?
They might. I mean, if you think Chelsea took the gamble on Graham Potter after a similar season,
and then Maresca,
yeah, I think what do top clubs want? They want football played the right way. Tottenham. If you're a Tottenham fan or a Liverpool fan, they don't want to win. They want to win and play well. And with him, is his system suited for a top club? Because he, like you say, he likes to play fast on the break as opposed to long periods of domination.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still think he will. He knows that Valverde will retire in Bilbao in a year and a half, 2 years time. I think and I think he's probably thinking, if I can eke out to then, that's his spiritual home, isn't it? That's the Kevin Keegan managing Newcastle moment. So
yeah, it could be something like that. I think.
I think it would be quite good for some of the players to have New Year's resolutions similar to the challenges that we set. So I'm just looking. So do you remember that show we did at the end of that season?
Yeah, vaguely.
I'm just looking through some of the players. I think for Mark Travers, it was get yourself in Ireland conversations more.
Okay.
And maybe playing international with them. Who else did we have?
We definitely had Dan going to do better in these slides, didn't we?
Yeah.
And did one at Ipswich.
And he did.
Yeah, fair play. Clivett was getting the Dutch squad and he got in.
Yeah. James Hill, I think we said, make sure you try to get 30,000 Instagram followers. I'm a bit annoyed at this because he's got 19.2 at the moment. He's only gone up 400, but hoping them all Premier League appearances.
Maybe after Sunday.
Yeah.
You got another 400.
Yes.
Well, that's it. I'm really hoping.
Said Sabani to score more than I from set pieces, so he needs to get his head on something.
Yeah, Lewis Cook, we said 1 or 2 goals.
Yeah, he's got one.
I think I set Cliver 10 goals for the season, so he's on course for that.
That's good.
Rye Christie, I think, was it thumbs up to the crowd? I think he's done that already.
Was it?
Phil Bill, we asked to kiss the badge when he scores.
Not going to happen. Oh, Tav, how many James Tav?
This year, the right good role of the crowd, isn't he? And I like to see that. Yeah, it annoys me when opposition players do it. I like it when our players do it.
I think we've told Tav to try and score as many as his brother.
Yeah.
He's only got one Tav, hasn't he?
Yeah.
James Tav and his band have a few.
Yeah.
I'm about actually looking. I can't really remember all of the others. I told City to make me not chuck away my Columbia shirt that was bought for Lerner. And I don't think I've seen City since. And
we did have the challenge for I think Marcus Tavernier. We challenged him to appear in one of the little 2-minute sequences on Match of the Day where they analyse some performance. That hasn't happened yet. We also challenged Unal, and this has happened, to generate the headline Turkish Delights somewhere. And it's happened after a free kick at West Ham. So,
what a free kick. What a player.
But hopefully it can be a fruitful season. But this could, like you say, Neil, Europe's all well and good, but it would massively affect the following season. You would massively
live in the moment. Don't worry about it.
We'll be in that square in Tbilisi. We won't care. Yeah. No, you got to look at the infrastructure at the club. Only Bill Foley knows this. So I'd imagine he always comes over before a transfer window, doesn't he? That these are the discussions he'll be having with Pinto and Frano, I'm sure. Which is, where do we want to get at? What are the gaps? Iraola will be feeding into it, won't he, in terms of what he needs. But if you get into Europe, you've got to have, like we used to have with Eddie, though, we used to have 22 players. They might not be as good as the players we had now, but we always had 22 players, even in the Championship.
Position kind of thing,
Yeah, so we used to swap in the FA Cup, and you hardly noticed it. Kermigan used to come in for Pitt.
Yeah, that's what
Ian Hart used to come in at left back. We didn't really particularly drop off a level. We haven't had that recently, and that's, we haven't had a reserve left back of note ever in the last few years. So
not a natural one, no. Wiggins still about? We normally just bring Wiggins back, don't we?
We've never had a backup for Zlanke. I don't really think we've got an equivalent backup for Evan Nilsson. So there's a bit of work to do. It's whether or not they can afford to do it now or whether they've got to sell and do it in the summer. But it's going to be really interesting in January. If we sign the right players, I do think we can push on and finish in the top 8.
Yeah, I agree. I think we'll get Europe. I'm saying it now.
As long as we don't lose. If we lose, Evan Nilsson does his hamstring at the end of January.
That's the problem.
These are the things.
Okay. But what it says, we've actually not been that lucky. We've got a lot of injuries. I feel like it might turn. It could turn, could that?
Tom.
Yeah, go on.
Who are we finishing above? Right, I would finish above Liverpool. No. Forest.
Yes.
You think we will?
Yeah.
Okay, Arsenal?
No.
Chelsea?
No.
Newcastle?
No.
Manchester City?
No.
Fulham?
Yes.
Villa?
Yes.
Brighton?
Yes.
Spurs?
Yes.
So basically you've got us in what? Sixth.
Liverpool.
So that's Europa, right?
Yeah.
Rather than conference.
Yeah, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, Newcastle, us.
Yeah. I the only one I disagree on is I think Villa would pick up.
Yeah, I was doing that to wind. We got quite a lot of Villa fans at one. I was just trying to wind them up. They could have 6, we'll have 7 in the Conference League, yeah, fine. But I think it's going to be, you've got the bigger names, but I think us, Forest and Fulham, maybe Brighton actually, are going to be scrapping it out. I don't think Tottenham are good enough, and United might stay up.
Well, we feel really silly like in a couple of months when all this
When we're 15.
Yeah, exactly.
Potentially, but you
You
can't be worrying about it.
You can only judge it on what you see next.
Even in the moment, it's sad. So, you were saying about, it'll derail our season stuff. Do you think, like, Sheffield United now are going, do we want to go up? Because we'll probably lose more games next year. They don't care. Just get in there. So, yeah, let's just get in there.
One of the things that John Sharkey put on Blue Sky was that Bournemouth have now earned 9 points with a goal scored in the 86th minute or later this season and dropped just 1. The difference between 6th and 14th.
Yeah, so
Those are the fine margins, eh?
There you go.
yeah, but we always do it.
Everything in the system that we play is geared up to the players that come on and what they do in the last, and that's what I worried about. That's why I was really worried on Sunday, because I thought we've only got 2 players that can come on.
Yeah, we've constantly said, haven't we, on here, that he always says, don't worry about the start 11 because they're just important. Them finishers of a game. I always make changes on the hour, etc., etc. So it's not coincidence that we've got loads of points near the end, and we got Dango. So
We got Dango Watara. Superb. Look, whether you've been watching or listening, thank you so much. A couple of things they can do, right, Tom? If they're watching,
like, subscribe, click the bell, and we'd thank you very much for that.
Neil, thanks so much for coming on, and a happy new year to you.
Happy New Year to you. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, we'll do, and I'll see you when?
I'll
doing the Everton preview, aren't they?
Yeah, probably, mate.
Can't wait. Other cherries, happy new year. See you later.
Happy New Year. Apart from Ryan Fraser.